My dad, David Lemponen, got on the fire department in 1957, and he'd been there for 60 years, 2017. And of those 60 years, he served 18 years as fire chief. And when that was during the first 30 years of his career there. And when I came in was 1987, and I was able to serve with him for his last 30 years, and had dropped from chief to firefighter at that time. He was going to retire back in 87, and I went in, and I just didn't want to call him dad at the scenes. So I says, nah, I can't do that just yet, until he stepped down from chief to firefighter, and then that's how that all came about. And then I could call him dad instead of chief. So I'm there, and I've been doing this and still doing it. So in EMS too. He was one of the first instructors in our area for first aid back in 1957. So it wasn't surprising that he says, "Are you going to join the squad too?" I work in a factory also, so I didn't have the time to outrank him or anything like that. I did get a little bit further than what he did with first aid. He was just a first aid instructor, but I'm an EMT, so yeah. So we always swapped stories back and forth and everything else. And when my dad first became a chief, a few years later, they had gotten a call. A cow had fallen down the well from one of the farms, and so went out there, and he's looking down the well, and he thought for a moment, and he goes, "Cows float." So it just filled up the well with water, and the cow just tied the rope around the neck to the grass unit and yanked him out, and the cow just went back to the field as if nothing happened. So I always thought out of the box. So there's always solutions to everything. So if somebody says a problem, well, I don't know how, I can't do this and I can't. Yes, you can do it this way. Yeah, but that's too much work. Well, it's still a solution. So he always found solutions for one thing or another. Just being there with my dad and learning something new every time. Sometimes he learned off of me. He goes, "Hey, that was a good idea. Didn't even think about that." So we kind of taught each other some of the new modern things, where he's old school with pencil and paper. So yeah, I'd show him. He didn't know how to work a cell phone. That was one of the things he did his first text. He sent me, "Hi." He goes, "I didn't want to make it complicated." So he was a doer too. He didn't put anything off to the side, brush it away, and go, deal with it later. He dealt with it at that moment in time. So it was like, there's no, coming back 2 weeks later or 2 hours later. It was, no, you get it done and you move on to something else. So he was a doer. He never had a bad word for anybody. He would, just do his thing, and he goes, "Well, if they don't like it, too bad. It's done." So if somebody says, "Hey, Dave, that was a good job," just an everyday thing to him. He didn't need the pat on the back or anything like that, or be told, "Hey, nice job." He'd tell everybody else, but that was just my job. For just finding out about this, the support here for the whole. For the whole country, more or less, not just for a certain state or anything else, because everybody that's here is from a different state. Different families of every kind, their jobs, everything's just a whole world experience for everybody. And I see that everybody's taking that home with them. So nobody's better than anybody or anything. We're all the same. There's somebody that we knew as a fireman. Now they're gone, and we're the families left. I went and looked at your 2017 and to get myself ready to expect what's going to be going on for the weekend. Just the stills don't do it justice until you actually look at the video and you can see the emotions that everybody has. You can see their families, whether they small children or teenage children or grown children like myself. It hurts everybody. And to have that connection with everybody there means such more support for one individual than anything you could imagine having. So, and it's been awesome here. That's I can't describe it any other way, but totally awesome. I'm hoping that I could do this next year, if not, definitely the year after. But I will make this like my annual vacation type of thing to come here. Because our families are dealing even with more issues. Even after I get home, there's more issues that's going to be coming up because of this. And I have to deal with all this still. And it's been a continuous process, even though it's been a year and a half. So it's hard on everybody. So, and I'm the one that everybody's coming to. You got to fix this. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it's like, I know what I got to do, but I can't fix 10 things at once. I have to take it one step at a time. So that's exactly what I'm doing.